This is what I'm going to show you how to make in this video. I'm going to be showing you how to make classic Italian dream house. You can get the full project files, samples, MIDI, presets, literally everything from this video. The whole template is available right at the top of the description on my website. It's a really great way to take your tracks to the next level right now. There's not a lot of things that you can do in only a few seconds that will instantly help you make better music. This is one of the very few things. Go grab it. You can follow along with the video. You can learn from it. You can get some new inspiration. It's all available down there. Thank you so much for the support, guys, and let's dive in. We're at 120 BPM, a little bit slower for house, honestly, but you know, it goes with that like chill dream house sort of vibe. And the first thing we have is the drums. Now, I've done something I've never done here on this channel before, at least in house music, which is I put the kick in the group with the drums. Right, so we got this big fat 909 kick. Now, I'll explain why I did that in a moment, but first I'll just show you all the drums. So it starts with this 909. Now, you'll notice a lot of the drum sounds here are from these classic Roland drum machines. Like, we've got a 909 kick, we've got an 808 clap. Tiny bit of reverb on that, makes it more dreamy. We have some hi-hats, which are all from 808s and 909s, 808 rim shot. And this is the tambourine from the 707. So it's literally all drums from Roland drum machines. And that is a very big part of this classic sound. Like, if you use like modern like Vengeance samples or something like that, you know, you're really not going to get that kind of thing. You need to use these classic drum machine sounds, but not just like any. Like, because there's some out there that aren't really the same. Like, you really need that big fat kick like that. Like, it can't just be a little quiet 909. You see, there's no processing on this, at least individually on here. There's no processing. You want it to just be a very fat kick right out of the drum machine. Now, on the drum group here, we do have a tiny bit of drum bus. You can see it's literally only on 12%, but you can see I turned some of the settings up, so it is hitting a bit harder. But yeah, it's only on 12%. So here's without it. Then with. So I just turned it up to 100%. You can hear, one, why we don't have it on 100%, but also what this is adding, right? You can hear it's creating this like crunch. And just making everything really like tight and glued together and a bit more aggressive as well. But obviously if you just use that at 100, like that's way too distorted, right? I mean, it totally messes up the kick. That's literally the reason why I usually don't put the kick into these kinds of groups, is because it would sound like that. Now, the cool thing that you are getting with the kick being in the group, and this is why I put the kick in there, is if you listen, like, for example, every time the clap hits, you hear it kind of like crunching together with the kick. Now, if I turn off the kick, it's like almost a completely different thing, right? So that's why we're doing that, is because this is going to make all the drums crunch together, and it really happens when you have the kick there because it's hitting so hard, and when it adds that low end, like that's what's making it crunch with the clap. It's essentially the low end from the kick and also like how loud the kick is, and then the clap distorting and kind of compressing together, and that's how you get that nice crunchy sound. And then you just put it on like a lower setting. Like I said, I had this at 12%. And it just becomes like a nice little extra layer on top. The drums are already really solid on their own. It's not about taking something that sounds bad and fixing it. It's taking something that already sounds really good and adding an extra like 10 or 12% here in this case and making it like really, really good. And also that helps with the classic kind of like more old school sound too, because that was that sound, right? Like everything getting crunched together on tape or in an old sampler or whatever it is. The next thing we have here is the bass line. Let's just play that with the drums so you can hear it. So you can hear there's a lot of groove going on in the bass line. Oh, and then there's the second half. So basically what's happening is we're actually in the key of F sharp major here in this track, but I've done the bass line in A sharp minor. So you have this nice bouncy minor key house bass line. Right, like we're using A sharp, the root, F, the fifth, another A sharp, G sharp, the minor seventh, minor third up here, C sharp. And then down here, it's just, I actually literally just took that bass line and put it down -5, right? So then you're getting that. But then to make it go back, the last note there, I put that back up to what it was over here. So you get that little, dun, dun, like that high note gives you kind of like a resolution. Now for the actual sound, it's an FM bass, so in a lot of these tracks, they were using FM basses back in the day, whether it was like a DX7 or something like that. But yeah, this gives you, it can really give you that nice, like, deeper house bass. While still being like, you can get the harmonics with it, but also like deepness and just like a fatter sound than you would get from like a saw wave. So this is just 3 sine waves. You can see we're using these like kind of setting the envelope like that, so it's very plucky. That's what gives it that sound. And then we have these two an octave down. You know, pretty simple stuff going on here, honestly. And then we just have a bit of saturation, make it a little bit fatter. You can, and also again give it more of like an analog feel. I've just used the dry wet at 50% though, so you're really still hearing that as a layer, because again, just like with the drum bus on the drums, that can ruin the bass on the bass. So you got to make sure that you blend that so that you're still getting it added on there, but in a way it's like fatter because now you have the original signal and a little bit of this new thing. So then we have the pad. So yeah, like I was saying, we're in the key of F sharp major. You can see that's what this is playing. It's an F sharp major. It's like a F sharp major 9 with another 5th on top, or not a 5th on top, a C on top. A 4th. But yeah, so you can see what happens is when you put this, which is very like, you know, just like chill major, kind of like jazzy major chord sounding, with the minor bass line, it creates something really nice versus just having the bass line like perfectly follow the chords. And then for the sound on this one, this is also made with operators. So yeah, operators are really good for pads too, because just like you can create deeper sounds for the bass that still have a nice harmonic thing going on, same thing with the pads as well. You can see, you know, it's just some sine waves. We've got them at different octaves though, and you can see by having this third one have the envelope where it like slowly builds in and then drops down. It kind of gives you this like evolving pad that's opening up. We got a little pitch envelope just kind of like going in reverse like that, so it goes whoop, like up to the pitch. We've got a low pass filter just to kind of cut out some of the highs and make it a bit more lo-fi sounding. And then also this little bit of vibrato with the LFO on the pitch. I've got some chorus on it, which the warmth knob on that really helps. A little bit of reverb, and then just a high pass filter. You'll notice we're not really side chaining either. I mean, with this type of stuff back in the day, they weren't really side chaining. That's more of like a, you know, past 20 years thing, I think. Then we just have a nice, you know, deep house string. It's just one of these string samples where you bring it in and then you use the loop here, and you can use the fade to make it like just kind of endlessly play. And you can just play that one note as long as you want to. So then we have these keys, which I'll play this with the chords so you really hear it. right? So it's just this nice chill thing that kind of pops in and out. And it's nice to have a few things where, like, you know, one is just constantly playing, like the pad. One is playing like one note like that. And then one is just like this, like a lot of space between it. You really just get like dun 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 dun. And it's just like a nice kind of simple element that doesn't fight for space with the other things because it's not playing so much. But the little bit where it does play is very effective. So this is playing these little chords here where I just took F and A sharp. You know, it's really simple. It's literally 3 notes. It's just this little, like, kind of riff. And you can hear with the delay, too, having those different notes in there. You get, like, a nice kind of ringing out melodic thing there. For the sound, it's just made with wavetable. So we got a square wave, low-pass filter with a bit of an envelope on it. Some unison. You know, it's a very simple sound. I mean, they weren't using terribly complex sounds back then either, because obviously it was a lot of analog synthesis, you know. Pretty simple patches. It's really more what you play with it. We've got a little bit of chorus on that, some echo, and then just a little bit of reverb. And then the last layer here is the lead. So yeah, you can hear what that's doing. It's a simple lead where it's really just 3 notes. It's kind of droning on this C here, which again just goes really well with that chord. Like not having it play exactly the root note of whatever chord you're playing, but to have this juxtaposed over that F sharp major chord. You know, and then it goes up to F, and then A sharp. It's a very simple lead, but that's all you need. It's kind of like the keys I was saying, like just having that thing that's very simple that plays over everything else that's changing. I mean, you can hear how much groove is happening also just between the lead and the bass. So you don't always just want a lead that's just like very like long sustain and simple like that. You can also try a rhythmic lead like this. Now, to make the sound, I'm using operators. So again, operators great for this style. As you can see, we're using just a square 32 and then a sine wave. Also, just so you know, if you never knew what the numbers are on here, it's basically how many harmonics each each waveform has. So if you put it on 32, it's a square wave that's like almost a full square wave. It just doesn't have the full harmonics, but it's like almost all the way there. And then that's getting FM from this one, which you can hear that gives you like that nice plucky kind of short envelope. I've also got an envelope on this filter. Then just a bit of drum bus to kind of make it a bit fatter and also make it more analog. High pass filter. Bit of filter delay, kind of making that bounce all around and be a bit more stereo. And then some reverb, and that's really it. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, literally everything from this video is available right at the top of the description on my website. Don't miss out, guys. It's something you do right now to make the best tracks of your life. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you with another video.